Hey guys, welcome back. This is Nakul from TechBoy back with the honest review video of the new Micromax Canvas 5.4. Today I'm going to tell you the pros and cons about this phone, basically what a normal day user would like and dislike in this phone. So let's get started. Okay guys, so first of all I'm going to tell you the pros about this phone, the things that I like in this phone and I think any normal user would also like in this phone. But I have this list of things about this phone which I need to share with you guys. So this video is going to be a bit lengthy, but I will try to keep everything point to point and we'll try to move as fast as possible. So let's start this video. So the first thing that I like about this phone is that it's a budget Android smartphone. Still it comes with Android 5.0 Lollipop out of the box. I'll just show you guys. Settings, about, and here we go. As you can see, Android version 5.0 Lollipop. So that's pretty cool and that's the first thing that I like about this phone. The second thing that I like about this phone is that the touchscreen panel of this phone is Corning Gorilla Glass 3 and it's almost scratch resistant and it's not gonna get scratched easily. I also did the scratch test video on this device, which you can see right over here if you click right over here. So this is the second thing that I like about this phone. Now the third thing that I like about this phone is that it has two loudspeakers which are really nice. One is at the top right over here and one is at the bottom. Now if you guys saw the unboxing video of this phone, then in that video I said that the loudspeaker isn't loud enough, but it's the other way around. The loudspeaker is really loud when you play music or play video or when you play games. The sound quality is really amazing too guys. It gives really nice effect when you play games or when you watch videos because when you hold your phone in the landscape mode, then you can clearly feel that stereo effect going from left to right speaker. And the sound quality, the treble and the vocals are also really clear and nice. So the loudspeaker is really loud and I think it's better than Moto G2, which also has a dual loudspeaker, one at the top and one at the bottom. I found the loudspeaker in this device better than Moto G2, so that's pretty great. Plus there is one more thing that I want to tell you about the loudspeaker, that they are not as much as loud when you are playing a ringtone or when your phone is ringing, and that's the reason why I said in the unboxing video that the loudspeaker is not that loud, because I was only testing it with the ringtones. Now I don't know why it's that, but it's really loud when you're playing the music or playing a video or playing a game, but not that loud when the ringtone is playing or your phone is ringing. But still good loudspeaker guys. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth thing that I like about this phone, and that is the back logo of this phone, the Micromax logo. It's actually a notification light and it does blinks when there's a missed call or there's a message, or it stays on when you put the phone on charge. I'll just give you an example. If I put it on charge, it should turn up, and here we go, as you can see. So that's pretty cool, but the problem over here is that not many people put their phone downwards, facing their screens down, and that's the main thing, that most people keep their phone like this on the table or anywhere, and they're not gonna see if there's a notification and the back logo will keep blinking and they're not gonna notice it. So that's a bummer. So let's move on to the fifth thing that I like about this phone, which is sound quality in headphones, which is really good. You get good clarity and the volume is good. The bass is also there, but it's not that thumpy, I would say. It's not that tight, but it's there. And if you want the best sound quality out of this phone, then I would suggest you to keep the equalizer turned off and do not turn it on. However, when you turn it on, you can obviously customize the sound quality, treble, bass, but the volume level goes down. I don't know why. So if you want the maximum volume, then I would suggest you to keep the equalizer off, and even then you get really good clarity, treble and bass. So that's the fifth thing that I like about this phone, that the sound quality in headphones, even with the headphones which are provided with this phone, the sound quality is good in them, and when you plug in your other headphones like Sennheiser or anything, then the sound quality goes a bit better. So that's the fifth thing that I like about this phone. The next thing that I like about this phone, the sixth thing, is that it does have the call recording internally. I'll just show you. If I dial Vodafone Care, and as you can see right over here it says start recording, so it does have the call recording internally, so that's pretty cool. And moving on to the last thing, the seventh thing that I like about this phone is that it does have the USB on the go support. Means you can plug in your pen drive and transfer data and stuff. I'll just show you. I plug in the pen drive right over here, come on, and here we go, preparing external USB storage. And it will also ask you, do you want to change the default write disk? So that's pretty cool that it does have the USB on the go support. So those were the pros about this phone, guys. The things that I like in this phone, and I think any normal user would also like in this phone. Now before I start telling the bad things about this phone, let's talk about the camera, because as usual there are some good things in the camera and some are bad things. So that's why I like to keep it in the middle of the pros and cons. So let's go in the camera app. So here we go, guys. Let me show you the interface real quick. We have the smile shutter, HDR, flash toggle, front facing camera button, and then we have the photo mode, normal, and over here we have the live photo mode. Then we have the face beauty mode, and this is the panorama mode right over here, and this is the capture button, video recording button. And in settings we have store location, exposure, color effect, scene mode, white balance, image properties, anti-flicker, and over here we have the zero shutter delay, voice capture, face detection, shutter sound, self timer, capture number, picture size, preview size, ISO, face beauty. And in video recording we have the noise reduction, EIS, microphone, audio mode, time lapse, and video quality. So that was the camera interface. So let's talk about the video quality first, guys. And you can't record the full HD 1080p video in this phone, only 720p. Even though this phone does have the 8 megapixel camera, autofocus with dual LED flash, still you can't record the full HD 1080 videos. So that's one thing that I don't like about this camera. And the video recording is decent enough, but it's kind of a sluggish and jitters a bit in low lighting. Outdoors it's fine, and you can even tap to focus. I'll just show you. If you start recording, so you can take pictures simultaneously while recording, so that's pretty cool. Plus you can pause the video and you can tap on the screen to focus. But there's one thing missing, which is the flash toggle. You cannot toggle turn on and turn off the flash while you're recording the video. However, you can do that before you start recording. So that's one thing missing while in your recording mode. So that was one more thing that I don't like about this camera, that you cannot toggle flash while you're recording the video. But it does have the time-lapse video, so that's pretty cool. The one thing that I like about this camera. So let's talk about the picture quality now, and the picture quality is decent enough, outdoors, indoors. Not that good or not that exceptional, I would say, but obviously it's an entry-level smartphone and you can't expect too much out of it. So the picture quality is just decent enough. And the problem starts indoors when you take pictures with flash. They are overexposed. They are like too bright. Obviously you can turn down the exposure or set the settings to make it right, but on the default mode, when everything is on auto, the pictures taken with flash indoors are too exposed, too much bright. However, I will include the picture samples, which you can see after this. So as you guys just saw the picture samples, you can see that the pics taken outdoors and indoors without flash are good enough, decent enough, but pics taken with flash are overly exposed, too much brightness, I would say. So that's one thing that you need to set when you are taking pics indoors with the flash. You can go in the settings and turn down the exposure right over here. You can turn it down, go in the minus to make that right. So that's something you have to customize according to your needs. Plus I want to tell you that the front camera is also good enough, does the job really well. I had no complaints about the front camera, it's really good enough for the device. Plus this phone does have the voice capture feature, but it barely works. I'll just give you an example. You have to say capture or cheese and it will capture the pic. It should capture the pic actually. So let's try. Capture, capture, cheese, cheese. Maybe you have to say it in a English accent to make it work. Let's try. capture, 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 and it just doesn't. So as you can see that the voice feature is turned on right over here, but still it's not working. Let's try one more time. Capture. And finally it did take a pic. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but that's the one thing I wanted to show you. Anyways, let's move on. So that was about the camera, guys, and now let's move on to the cons part about this phone, the things that I don't like and I think any normal day user would also not like in this phone. And the first thing that I don't like about this phone is that it's a bit sluggish or laggy, you can say. Now I can't really show this thing in the video because it's not something to be felt in the video, but when you use the phone you can clearly see that it's a bit sluggish or it's just generally slow. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe you can see, look at this. It takes hell lot of time sometimes. So it does have 1.3 GHz quad-core processor, but I don't know what's wrong. I did run the Antutu benchmark also and the score was around 20,000. So it's all cool, but I don't know why it's so sluggish. So that's the first thing that I don't like about this phone. Moving on to the second thing that I don't like about this phone is that screen is kind of reflective, and even when you go in direct sunlight and turn up the brightness fully, the screen reflects a lot and might give you problem while looking at the screen. Not that much, but it is reflective than usual. Plus there is one more thing, that the actual display is below the touch panel and there is a gap between about 1 mm or even less than 1 mm, but you can feel that the actual display is below than the touch panel. There is a gap between. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera or not, but even when you touch it you can feel that you're touching the glass above and everything is happening below it. So it doesn't really give nice feeling, but it's just my opinion, guys. I mean, that's the second thing that I don't like. Maybe it's normal for you, but I really don't like it. So anyways, let's move on. Now the third thing that I don't like about this phone is that it doesn't have any backlight in the capacitive keys and it gets really impossible to see them in the dark. If you are doing something with your phone at night in your room, you can't see them at all. Though obviously you get used to it after using the phone for a day or two, that where the keys are. But still it's always good to have the backlight in the capacitive keys, which this phone doesn't have. So that's the third thing that I don't like about this phone. Now moving on to the fourth thing that I don't like about this phone is that it doesn't have any ambient light sensor, means it doesn't have the option of automatic brightness, and you will have to manually adjust the brightness every time you go out of the house or come inside the house, because the phone won't turn up or turn down the brightness by itself when you go in direct sunlight or go in a darker place. You'll have to do it manually every time. Plus it also doesn't have the e-compass sensor, means in navigation or everything the arrow will move 2-3 seconds late because there is no e-compass sensor either. So that's the fourth thing that I don't like about this phone. And now the fifth thing that I don't like about this phone is that the screen is not HD, guys, and the resolution is only 480 by 854 pixels and not even 720p. So that's the fifth thing that I don't like. Even Moto G had a 4.5 inches of screen, but it was 720p HD, but this phone doesn't have the HD screen. But I think it's okay because it's an entry-level smartphone and costs only 6,500, so I think it's pretty okay. But still, that's my opinion, guys. No HD screen, and that's one thing that I also don't like. And the next thing that I don't like about this phone is the big bezels. As you can see, the bezels are quite big, and even at the sides of the screens are quite wide. They could have made it slimmer. I mean, this phone has 4.5 inches of display, and the size of this phone is almost equal to Lenovo A6000, which has 5 inches of display. So this phone could have been a bit smaller. As you can see, this area could have been a bit slimmer because it only has 3 capacitive buttons, and even at the top the speakerphone is at the second strip, and this black strip could have been slimmer because it only has front facing camera and proximity sensor. So I don't know why they gave this much of area. So that's pretty rubbish, and that's the sixth thing that I don't like about this phone. Now moving on to the last thing that I don't like about this phone is the slow charging of this device. I mean, it literally takes around 2.5 to 3 hours to charge from 15% to 100%, guys, and that's a lot of time. And it takes a lot of time to charge, and that's the seventh thing and also the last thing that I don't like about this device. So that's pretty much about the pros and cons about this phone, guys. And now let me tell you some general stuff about this phone, like the call quality. And the call quality is also average, guys, not that good, I would say. I would rate it around 6.5 to 7 out of 10. The loudness is okay, but it's the clarity. It could have been more clear. And even the loudness, you wish if there were one or two more step in the loudness. So the call quality is also average. Plus I want to tell you that you get around 3.95 GB out of 8 GB as your user available memory. And it doesn't also have the apps to SD card option, means that's the only space you get to install your games, apps. So you might have to be a bit careful about how many apps you install and how much big games, heavy games you install in this phone. And lots of people were asking me that what is the free RAM which is usually available in this phone. So it's around from 200 to 350 MB, which is free. Let's find out right now. And right now it's around 312 MB, which is free. So that's okay. Out of 1 GB you get around from 200 to 350 MB free RAM. Plus let's talk about the battery backup now. The phone has 2000 mAh battery, but the battery backup is pretty average. I got around 12 hours to 14 hours of battery backup with normal usage. But I want to tell you that my Wi-Fi and 3G was on all the time, guys. And that's the battery backup I got with the screen time of around 2 hours or slightly more than 2 hours. It was around 2 hours 17 minutes or so. But maybe it will increase gradually because I was using this phone for only 3-4 days, and maybe it will increase gradually after a few charges. Plus it also has a battery saving feature option, you can say, in settings. If we go in the battery, right over here, intelligent power saving standby, so you can turn it on, maybe you'll get a bit more battery. So that's pretty much about it, guys. This was the honest review video of the new Micromax Canvas 5.4. If you have any question, comments, suggestions, or you want to ask me something, put them in the comments down below and I will try my level best to reply you guys. Plus you can also catch me on my Facebook page and ask me question over there, or to know my upcoming and current activities. The link of that page will be in the description below. Plus if you like my videos, make sure you give them a thumbs up and share them with your friends. So thank you for watching, guys, and subscribe for more videos.